Okay, so at this point you have your posterized photo here. You also have a piece of fabric like this and a hoop, an embroidery hoop actually. And what we're going to do with the hoop is we're going to just open it up like this. See if I can zoom you in a little more here. So you're going to kind of open it up like this, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. This hoop comes out, and then you're going to take a smaller one. You're going to put your fabric over it. So everybody has the same piece of white fabric here. This is what we're going to be sewing onto, okay? And that's going to go, if the hoop's going to go over it. You should also take a piece of tape and write your name and class code on it on the back of this, and just leave your name and class code on there, or maybe on the side of the fabric. We'll talk about that a little bit more today. And then you're going to tighten it up, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. And now my canvas is ready. This is like my drawing paper, or my painting canvas. This is what we're going to be working on. So I'm going to put that to the side for now because I need to prepare my first piece of fabric. So here I'm going to decide to do just part of my face. So I think I'm going to actually have my necklace in here too, my neck. So I'm going to use these scissors, our cheapo regular paper scissors. We also have a pair of nice fabric scissors. We'll be sharing those. We don't have enough for everyone, but those are only for fabric. If we use them for anything but fabric, we will ruin them. So I'm going to cut along the image that I want to use, and these little detail parts are kind of hard, so I'm going to just do my best around them. And then I'm going to cut to here, and I'm just going to go along the contours of the whole face here. Move them off to the side. I'm actually going to recycle those. I'm going to ball them up and throw them away. So I look a little funny. Next, I'm going to take the piece of fabric that I'm deciding to use. And you want to kind of look at the colors of fabric. I decided to go with like turquoises and yellows. You can choose a color scheme. I also really like this fabric, so I'm going to try to incorporate that somehow. So you can get yourself, sort of look at what we have there, and we'll probably get more donations as we go throughout this project too. Now I don't have a huge piece here, so I'm going to try my hardest to flatten it really well and try to get my whole head on here. I don't really want things hanging off, but if I am going to have anything hanging off, I want it to be the necklace. I don't want it to be part of my face. So let me just try to see if I can fit this a different way. Nope, that's probably my best way. So I'm going to try to bring this nice and flat. And then I've got pins here with little balls. So we're going to take this and we're going to guide the pins into the paper and back up. And then we want to sort of flatten it as we go. And make sure you're still getting fabric under your whole head. So you might cut your fabric a little bit larger so you're not dealing with sort of this tightness like I'm dealing. And then you'll see it here on this side. You see that? I'm taking that and I'm guiding it back up and through. And then I'm making it flat again each time. I'm going to use my fabric scissors. Now I can't cut paper with these. No cutting paper. We're going to take this and just cut the fabric. Okay, so I'm going to cut along here and try to keep it off the paper. So I'm going to oh, this isn't the way I'm going to move it. and I can take all these little pieces of fabric and throw them away. These can't be recycled, so I can throw those away. Some of these I'm going to keep because I might want to do detail work with them later. So you have an envelope. You can put those in the envelope for later, just so you have some of that fabric in case you want it later for details. And then just not the tiny teeny pieces. And then I'm going to take these off of here, put them in my little pin box. Piece of fabric that is me. So cool. Next, this gets pinned onto here. So mine's gonna go along this whole fabric, and I might need a bigger hoop, although I'm gonna just take the hoop off to fit it. So I'll take this off for now. Take this off. We'll use it to pull it taut later. I'm gonna put that kind of in the middle there. And then I'm gonna bring pins into here. So I need to flatten it again and bring pins into here. I've got this, and you could put some of these flat in your folder for now. I have this one here, which I'm going to use some of too. Because those are my colors, I'm going to look for a color thread that I like with this color scheme. So I actually really like this one, this kind of crazy pinkish one. So I'm going to start to sew with that. And which is from arm to arm. So a wingspan. Can you see me? I'm upside down, but a wingspan is like this, okay, of thread. And then I'm gonna cut it. And I'm gonna take that piece and it's gonna go through the eye of a needle. So here are my needles here. And I'm going to get a sewing needle with a decent size eye on it. So, what's the eye of the needle? Can you see that? Right there. So it's going to go through that little eye. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to work it through the eye of the needle. So I lucked out, but it's not always easy to do. Then you're going to bring it all the way to the end. All the way to the end, okay? Then you're going to line these two up, okay? Bring them together. And then, let me move this so it's not too distracting underneath. Then you're going to take this whole double thing and you're going to wrap it around your finger and cross it. Then you're pinching it and rolling it to the tip of your finger and pulling it. So you're doing that a few times. Wrap it, pinch it, roll it, pull it. Wrap it, pinch it, roll it, pull it. And you do it a couple times. Once you've got a pretty good knot, then you're ready to sew. So we've got our needle ready. Now this is going to have to come back onto here, which the pins are going to be in the way. So I'm going to start just with, let's see how I can do this. As much of the pins, I might have to move two of these pins here so that I can put it on here. And I'm going to make it taut. It makes it easier to take care of it if it's taut. We want this to go underneath. So we're going to bring this underneath here, and I'm going to start like here. Actually, I'm going to start here at the base of my chin, and I'm going to bring that stitch up. Now I want my stitches to sew, to show, and to sew. So I'm going to bring my stitch here and come through, and you can see that stitch which is what I want to happen, kind of like in the Edo Morales one. So you want to pull it nice and taut. For your first stitch, you want to go around like 2 or 3 times, just because that's called reinforcing your stitch. So I'm going over that first stitch a few times. Okay, and then I can keep going. So I'm going to keep making these little bites in my fabric, adhering this to the white fabric here. Okay, does that make sense? So these little bites. Zoom this in a little more. Try to keep that outside border as even as you can. You can see I kind of made those a little bit further apart from each other. I want to try to keep them pretty even, and I want to try to keep that border around the edge of my face pretty small. Now at this point, this pin might start to get in my way, so I can move that out because it's pretty securely on there. Point, I need to keep going up here, but this is in my way, so I'm going to undo this, and I'm going to try to move this up a little so I have more of the hair in there. And this pin's going to be in the way, so I'm going to take it out. I want this to come through here and this to be taut on here. Oops. That's a little loose, so try to get it as taut as you can and pull that fabric. About like this much left. Once I have about this much left, I'm gonna go back over, I'm gonna reinforce a stitch. So this stitch here, I'm gonna reinforce. So I'm gonna go over it again 3 times. And then on the back here, I'm going to tie it off. So I'm going to make a round loop. I'm going to go through the loop, and I'm going to guide this towards the fabric. So I'm doing that a couple times. Let me zoom out a little so you can see it better. So I make a loop, see the loop, loop, then I go through the loop, and then I kind of guide this down a couple times. So when it's knotted enough there, then I cut this off and I get another one and start again.